Good evening, social media. Another week in the books, and man, oh man, does it feel good to be back as always. Oh my God. Now, before we get into today's episode of the most uncut, unfiltered, and uncensored sports talk show that you will find on social media, be sure to click the link in the description of this video and make sure you get some Reaper apparel. Hoodies and clothing, accessories, whatever you can think of on checkout. Be sure to use code No Mercy Sports 10. That's No Mercy Sports, all caps, followed by the number 10 for 10% off your entire purchase. Reaper Apparel, baby. Let them know I sent you. And now it's time for the most uncut, unfiltered, and uncensored sports talk show you will find on social media. Without further ado, at the end of this episode, you will know whose game this is, with everybody saying, No Mercy Sports. Yeah!
Nobody can stop me now.
Let me talk to you. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. And without further ado, let's get into this episode. But I got some people joining me here with me today. Now, the first person I'm about to bring onto this show, he is a co-host and he is a villain of sorts on that. He loves pushing buttons, but man, oh man, does he stick to his guns, and he does a great job at that. Please help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Vandy Chris. What it do, baby?
What it do? I'm look, by the end of this episode, if somebody's not going hot to it at somebody else, we have failed as a sports talk show.
Wow, I love the reference, man. I love the reference. Wow. If you know, you know. Let it be known in the comments. Now, we talked about this earlier, and man, oh man, the numbers never stop climbing when the WNBA is showing a game that has Caitlin Clark in it. Once again, the Fever and Sky faced off this past Sunday, and it seems as though that both Clark's teammates and Caitlin Clark herself are finally starting to get things together. Despite the fact that they started 1-8 to get things started for the season, they have now found themselves being 4-2 in their last 6 games. And Clark, after the game against Chicago, finished the game with 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. Aside from the fact that she's more than likely going to win Rookie of the Year, is it also a matter of time that we could see Caitlin Clark elevate Indiana Fever to the same level as the Las Vegas Aces?
It's going to take a little bit, but I personally don't think she's going to win Rookie of the Year. That's just my take. As you know, this is a national media voted on award, and a lot of the national media has soured on Caitlin Clark because of the drama that comes with her. And it's not all her fault, but they've realized a lot of this stuff that's happening on the court is of her own doing. You get what you give, and when you're given the chirping and the talking back and the one-upsmanship that she brings, things are going to happen, and they see it for what it is.
I mean, things are going to happen. And yeah, but at the same time, on some level, she's got the right to talk trash. But also, that doesn't mean that Kennedy Carter, or even Angel Reese should go and try to behead her for that kind of matter.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying their actions are okay. What I'm saying is I understand why they bring those actions to it. Because
They
there's
should bring those kind of actions, though.
okay, I'm not saying that they should. I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm saying I understand why.
I
The
understand
why is because
too. I've
Caitlin
seen a
Clark
lot
is
of people
chirping a
in
lot.
I've seen a lot of people chirp in other sports too, but I don't see anybody swinging a bat or throwing a drop kick anytime soon.
Women are women.
Women are women. They're just
They take things different.
they do take things different. I'm not going to deny that. But look, my thing is like, yes, she does. Is she an instigator? Yeah. But why are we acting like this is the first time that we've seen somebody instigate in the WNBA? But at the same time, it's like, yo, y'all have not really been in that good of ratings ever since you came into, ever since you've been formed. But ever since Caitlin Clark came in, it's nearly been 250 to 1,000% increase ever since she's been drafted into the league.
Right. I just, so my take is I think the media is not going to vote her for Rookie of the Year because that's going to add to some of the drama. I actually think Rikeia Jackson's going to win it. And Rikeia Jackson is the only other rookie besides Caitlin Clark that's putting up the kind of numbers that they're putting up.
She's barely putting up any numbers. I mean, I literally compared the numbers to you this morning.
Okay, she's been splitting her numbers in the early season with Cameron Brink. Cameron Brink is not there anymore. She's out. So she's no longer going to be splitting those numbers with her.
Okay, well, I mean, if Rikeia Jackson can get her numbers up, then yeah, it'll definitely be very interesting to see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it comes down to who gets Rookie of the Year. But right now, like, I got Caitlin Clark for that matter. I'm not on the bandwagon of like, oh, it's jealousy, it's hate that if Caitlin Clark doesn't win the WNBA Rookie of the Year, it's a collusion against her. Like, no, I'm not on that.
Yeah.
Like, if she can ball, she's top 5 in assists in the league. She's essentially leading her team in top 3 categories.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. She's a great player. I just don't think she's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Nah, that's fair. I mean, we're all entitled to our opinion. So, but yeah, we'll just have to see how everything pans out and how things go.
Yeah.
So
Long season left.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to deny that. Any doubt of that. But speaking of the WNBA, forming a championship team is one thing. Winning the championship is a whole lot different. And when you're trying to win back-to-back titles, that's an even greater task to try and accomplish. However, being on the verge of a three-peat, now that's true greatness, if you ask me. This past football season, the Kansas City Chiefs would become the first team since the 03-04 Patriots to win back-to-back Super Bowls. In college basketball, the Huskies would be the first team since the 06-07 Florida Gators to win back-to-back national championships. And right now in the WNBA, the Las Vegas Aces are the only team to win back-to-back championships. Now, we're still in the WNBA season. We got a while to go before the NFL season and even the college basketball season starts. But of the 3 teams, which team has the best chance to go for the coveted three-peat?
UConn, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah.
I don't think it's close.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, especially when we're talking NFL, there's a lot of key players that are coming back in the AFC that got injured that essentially Kansas City really took advantage of. And Kansas City was honestly at its weakest, too, last year.
So the thing with Kansas City last year is they were carried by their defense. I don't think anybody denies that. Their defense carried.
Yeah.
They've lost their best corner. Snead's gone. That's going to definitely make a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, Rashid Rice and even their newest draft pick, Xavier Worthy, have gotten a little bit in trouble off the field.
Say that again.
Their offensive players, Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy,
Yeah.
have gotten in trouble off the field as well, which Travis Kelce is definitely going to have a target on his back going into this upcoming season.
I mean, why would Travis Kelce have a target?
I mean, every defense in the AFC and the league alone, including their dead relatives, know that, like, if it's not Travis Kelce, who else is Pat Mahomes going to throw to?
Travis Kelce.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying. That defenses are in the key.
I completely agree that the Huskies are the best team right now that are going to win the coveted three-peat. They're going to be the first team since I don't know how freaking long to
UCLA.
Or
UCLA's the last one to win 3 in a row.
For college basketball?
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't surprise me one damn bit. But yeah, like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if UConn wins the three-peat. I mean, right now, Minnesota and other teams are playing better than Las Vegas is right now, and Las Vegas is still the defending the defending champions right now, and they're the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Championships are hard to win.
They really are, but I mean, like,
I mean, even Los Angeles is better than they were last
year. Debatable.
And even losing Cameron Brink, they're still better than they were last year.
I mean, yes and no. Like I said, they are currently 2-8 in their last 10 right now. They are sitting almost at the bottom of the pack. But I mean, if they can pull things together, then good on them.
And sometimes being a better team doesn't show up in the record, because it's, sometimes you're a better team, but the wins just don't come because everybody else has gotten better too.
Yeah, true. But I just see it like, look, Las Vegas is the best team with back-to-back championships. They have arguably the best player in the league, Asia Wilson, but they're sitting at the middle of the pack. Like, y'all should be better than that. Even when the Miami Heat went back-to-back, they still were at the top of their of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. I'm not in panic mode with Las Vegas yet. So it'll come.
Yeah, true. I mean, we do have the the Olympics that are going to be coming up. So it's for the WNBA, it's going to be more of a all-star break for them. So
think about it this way: some of the WNBA players, Asia Wilson, those types, have been taking time off to ready for the Olympics and practice with Team USA and doing things of that nature. So once they're back full scale, you'll see a difference.
Okay. All right. And that makes a lot more sense. But let's talk about UConn. I really like the fact, some people out there may say otherwise. I really like the fact that Dan Hurley really turned down the job with the LA Lakers to go back to UConn, because, like, I see it like this. He has a chance to not only go back to UConn, but bring UConn a three-peat and make UConn also the Alabama of college basketball, where every top recruit in the country wants to go there just so they can win the national championship and also be a high draft pick in the NBA draft.
I think they're already there. They're easily the best. They're easily the best college basketball program going today. They've won 6 titles since 2000.
Yep.
No other school in the country's got even 2.
Yeah.
In that time period.
Yeah.
They are I take that back. Villanova's got 2 in that time period. But UConn is clearly the destination in college basketball right now. And people can say what they want to about their facilities, their fan base, whatever. None of that matters when you're good. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So people laugh at Vanderbilt for their facilities. And guess what? In 2012, 2013, when they were going 9-4, nobody said a deadgum word about their facilities because they were good.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how that works. Nobody's saying a word about Northwestern's football facilities. They're playing in a 6,000 seat stadium for the next 2 years. And the reason they don't say anything is because over the past 30 years, they've built a respectable program. So.
No, I mean, I'll agree to that. And I mean, hell, like there is the coveted class known as the Blue Bloods, like, North Carolina, Kentucky, Duke, Indiana, for that matter. I mean, you could really, UConn has a legitimate argument to be put into that coveted class.
Oh, yeah. I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they have won 6 national championships since 2000, and
you're in UCLA territory doing that. And UCLA, and we all know what UCLA. You're in UCLA territory, winning 6 in 20 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's mind-boggling with all these teams that are so close on the coveted three-peat. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, we're just going to have to see what happens. If Aja Wilson, after the Olympics and the Las Vegas Aces can get their shit together and do what they need to do, maybe they take Minnesota out, because right now the Minnesota Lynx are the top team in the WNBA.
Yeah, that's true. But the Lynx have been good for a couple of years now too. So it's not surprising to see them up there.
That's true. And the championships that they have won really speaks volume. Like, I think they are the one team tied with many others that have 4 championships in the WNBA.
Yes. So, and who knew? And unless you pay attention to the WNBA, a lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
they've been missing out.
When I was coming up, it was like the LA Sparks.
Yep.
And that was pretty much it.
Who did Cheryl Swoops play for? She played for Phoenix, didn't she?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure.
I think she played for Phoenix.
Okay. The only 2 things I remember about the WNBA was the LA Sparks and Candace Parker, and that was about it.
Lisa Leslie in the early days.
Oh, yep. Lisa Leslie, of course.
Elena Delle Donne.
Yeah, I didn't pay that close attention, especially because of the fact that I was like,
if you didn't know Elena Delle Donne, you weren't doing your homework.
Hey, look, I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. I was watching Ed, Edd and Eddy when Cartoon Network was in its prime, playing video games, PlayStation 2, and everything like that.
you're still a boy. You should have been looking at the Lane of Della Dog.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Oh man. All right. But we're gonna take our first commercial break. We will be back, but we have a very exciting topic to talk about when we get back after this commercial break.
Boy, that's mediocre.
Then what the f are you doing?
I was drinking that.
No, you were surviving it. Give excitement a try with Bones Coffee. Click on the link below to order some for yourself. Here. Whoa is right. That substance you were sipping before is what we in the industry refer to as ass water. Sure, it technically has caffeine, but at Bones Coffee, we believe in the experience of waking up every morning looking forward to that first tasty cup. That's why we roast carefully selected beans in small batches to perfection, so you can count on quality in every cup. And not only that, Bones has a ton of fabulous flavors from which to choose.
Bang! Did someone mention flavors? Highland Greg, pleasure to meet you.
What'll it be, Greg?
You know, I've been hankering for the spiced rum flavor of Highland Grove, please.
Greg, I'm surprised by the size of your bagpipe.
Ugh, it's not the size of the bagpipe that matters, laddie.
Yeah, it's how hard you blow it. Yeah, let's leave the talking to me.
Oh, gee, I just got back from chasing some hosers out of the grilling rink. I could go for some maple bacon coffee right about noon.
Coming right up.
Hey kid, you single?
Yeah.
That's why this place looks like
Here you are, my salty siren.
Thanks. I need the salted caramel chocolate pick-me-up after dealing with this loser.
How in the world are all these people getting in here?
We just walked in. Click on the link below to stop drinking water and get yourself Bones Coffee today. Or maybe you don't want to click on the link below because you think, flavored coffee's not for me. That was Sarah G's experience. She says, usually flavored coffees taste chemically to me, but these do not. They have a really pleasant aroma and flavor. They do not leave that weird residue on the bottom of your mug like many flavored coffees do. And Cheryl S. says, I ordered this for my son's GF for a B-day. She loves it. Why, Cheryl, that's awfully nice of you. Unfortunately, they broke up and I can't return it. Frowny face. Well, that's awkward. At least she liked it, though. Stop settling for mediocrity and order Bones Coffee today.
Man, oh man, I gotta try some of that Bones Coffee. But we are nearly 60 days away from college football season to kicking off. Figuratively and literally, it is so close, I can almost smell it. Oh, I can't wait. Now, I am currently looking at a list of the final top 25 rankings. We're going to get into some other teams as well. But there are some serious expectations for some of these teams that are in the top 25 rankings. So, we're going to go through each team and give our expectations for it. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so Michigan obviously finished number one. They completed the undefeated season, and they won the national championship. What are your expectations for them going into this upcoming season?
I can see them. I can see them winning 10 games. The two question marks.
Tops?
11 tops, yeah. The two question marks on this schedule, as always, Penn State and Ohio State.
Yep. Well, I'm more focused on Ohio State because that is the game that really decides a lot for
Right.
Michigan and
For
Ohio
both of them.
State because they are arguably the top 2 teams in the Big Ten.
Yep.
So 10, 11 wins. I wouldn't be surprised with Michigan, but I really don't see them repeating as national champions anytime
No.
soon. Yeah, they won the 4 games with Harbaugh suspended, but it's not about how you start; it's about how you finish.
Right. And Harbaugh's not there anymore.
Yes.
McCarthy's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Corum's gone.
Yep.
Should be a different team, but they're
Mhm.
still going to be good.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely still be in the top 25 rankings for sure. Next up, we got number 2 Washington. Unfortunately, they came up just a little bit short, playing Michigan in the national championship. They finished the season 14-1.
That could be one of the biggest downfalls of the entire season this year.
Yeah,
I would not be shocked at all to see them be a 500 team.
I wouldn't be surprised as well. I mean, they lost Michael Penix Jr. They lost their wide receiver Rome Odunze. So it wouldn't be.
A lot of pieces on the offensive line are gone.
Yeah.
Their head coach is left.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jed Fish took over, something glaring to me that happened is Noah Fafita, who was a freshman All-American superstar quarterback at Arizona.
Yeah.
Didn't go with him.
Huh. That
Kind of alarming. To me, that's alarming.
Yeah. So I think we're both in agreement that it wouldn't be surprising if Washington finishes 500, if not 1 or 2 games above 500.
Right. Going to be a big downfall.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, yes, they had a great season, but you lose a lot of key pieces, you're going to take a big hit to the gut. I mean, if you don't believe me, look at 2011 Auburn team when they lost Cam Newton.
Yep.
All right. So next up, number 3, Texas, who finished 12-2, and they will be making their first year start in the SEC.
Got them 11-1 in the regular season.
Okay.
Provided that Quinn Ewers stays healthy.
Yes. Yeah, I'll agree to that. I got them between 10-2 and 11-1.
Yep.
So
if Ewers isn't healthy and they go into the big house in Michigan, you're looking for trouble.
Oh yeah, definitely looking for trouble. I mean, yeah, Alabama is a tough place to win. So is Georgia and a lot of other SEC stadiums. But you go to the big house, you're lucky to walk out of that stadium alive with a win.
Yep. But if Ewers is healthy, they're clearly the better team.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Now, next up, man, I think this team goes on a revenge tour this year. They were snubbed of the college football playoffs because they lost the SEC championship to Alabama. Georgia, who finished 13-1. I think they go on a revenge tour with Kirby Smart, who is still the head coach, and I think they win it all.
I got them doing big things.
Yeah.
And so they lost a couple pieces. Brock Bowers, the wide receiver, I can't think of his name. Lad McConkey.
Yeah.
So they lost a couple pieces, but in McConkey's place, they did bring in a transfer portal receiver.
Yep.
Landon Humphreys.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you will, even at Vanderbilt, he was one of the fastest wide receivers in all of the SEC. The kid can fly. And when it comes to route running, he is as precise as they come.
Mm-hmm.
And even in their spring practices, Landon Humphreys was making their cornerbacks. He owned their cornerbacks, and their cornerbacks are 3 and 4 year starters.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a team that's going to be a problem.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I think Georgia goes on the revenge tour this season because I mean, yeah, they had you can talk shit about them all you want regarding their schedule because they were coming off back-to-back national championship wins. But at the end of the day, Kirby Smart is there, and they're one of the top SEC college football programs in the country, and it's
Yep.
not even close.
Yep. Don't disagree.
Yeah. Speaking of the SEC, next up we got Alabama. Now, they finished what? 11-1, 10-2. From what I'm looking at, they finished 12-2, but they were, in my opinion, one of the worst winning teams that I've seen because that wasn't the Alabama that we all know, and whether you're a fan of them or not, love and hate. They had to switch quarterbacks multiple times. Were they winning games? Yes, absolutely. But how they got into the playoffs is kind of beyond me. But I think if Jalen Milroe is coming back under center, I think Alabama kind of regains some traction under their feet and they get back to the level that they were when Nick Saban was the head coach.
So I see some problems on their schedule.
Okay.
I can 100% see them being an 8-4 football team this year.
Ooh. Who are the four? Actually, let's dive deeper into that. Let's see. So what? So they got Western Kentucky, easy win.
Yeah.
South Florida, another easy win.
South Florida gave them fits last year.
Yeah.
And South Florida's gotten better.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
And it's at home. I think that's a tricky game for Alabama.
Okay.
They should win it.
It was like 17-10 last year, right? Right.
They should win it based on talent alone.
Okay. I'm still gonna take Alabama over South Florida.
Right, but like I said, it's a tricky game. Alex Golis, he's got that program headed in the right direction, without a doubt, and he's kind of had Alabama's number a little bit. He's always given them fits, even as the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. He gave them fits.
Yep.
So I can see that being a tricky game. Alabama should win it on talent alone, but you never know.
Now, this is where things get really, really tricky. They are going up against one of the top teams in the Big Ten. They go into Wisconsin. This is going to be a very tricky game.
If that's a night game and it's jump around, and I don't know what time the game is.
It's a noon game.
Noon game in the Midwest.
Yep.
You got that rowdy crowd doing jump around. That's another tricky game for them.
And hey, look, I've lived in the Midwest for 15 years. I can wholeheartedly agree that
humidity is different.
Humidity is different, but I will say this: you can guarantee that Wisconsin fans are going to be out there since probably 7 a.m. pre-gaming, and they are going to be drunk. They are going to be loud, and I guarantee you, they are going to give Alabama some problems.
Yes. So that's two tricky games. It could go either way.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Next up, Alabama versus Georgia.
Georgia, easily.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll take that. I'll take that. It's going to be a hard-fought win for Georgia, but yeah, I can see that. All right. Next up, they go into Vanderbilt.
They're beating Vanderbilt.
Yes.
As much as I believe that my guys are going to turn it around a little bit this year, we're not world beaters. And I'm not naive enough to think that we can compete with the Alabamas and the Georgias.
I mean, Alabama and Georgia, they are the two top titans in the SEC right now.
We're not competing with that.
Yeah. Next game up, they play South Carolina.
Boat race.
Ooh.
South Carolina. Okay. Uh, Let me put it all on the table here.
Okay.
Florida, Mississippi State, and South Carolina are going to be in a three-way battle for being the worst teams in the SEC.
I really don't foresee that.
I know you don't, but Florida is horrible.
Hey, all it takes is one good turnaround. I mean, they finished 5-7 last year.
I mean, yeah, they're 5-7. They, with the schedule they've got, Florida is going to be hard pressed to win more than 3 or 4 games.
All right, and
It's brutal.
and don't get me wrong, we are definitely there's a lot of key teams, especially in the SEC. I mean, hell, even Miami is on the list that we're going to talk about for expectations.
Yeah.
But yeah, for right now, they play South Carolina at 12 East Coast time.
Yeah, they're going to boat race South Carolina.
So they win
They-
in destination style.
Yeah, they may put a 50 burger on them.
I don't know. I mean, the way that Tennessee put up a fight against them, or put up a shootout against them, what was it, like 2-3 years ago? Like, yeah, they had Hendon Hooker under center, but man, oh man, that was a shootout for the ages.
So let me check something real quick. This won't take just a second. I wanted to look at something.
It's all right. 17-3 if South Florida. It's big noon, and Wisconsin was 7-6 last year. Tyler Van Dyke. Oh shit! I forgot about that. TVD. Oh man. Don't get it twisted. Sports Bites podcast. TVD was a menace in the first half of the season for the fucking U, baby. He was an absolute menace. Imagine what he can do at Wisconsin. Oh my god, man.
So
I completely forgot about that.
So just looking at South Carolina's schedule, Old Dominion, at Kentucky, LSU, Akron, Ole Miss, and then Alabama. You're looking at a team that's going to be 2-3 coming into that game.
Maybe 3-2.
0-3 in the SEC. They're going to be beat down by the time they come in there. Alabama may put a 50 burger on them, and it's probably going to be over.
I mean, like I said, well, with college football, you never know what's going to happen. I mean,
sure.
Like, again, look what happened with Tennessee and Alabama when Hendon Hooker was under center, and they won the shootout 52-49. That was arguably, if not the greatest college football game of the season that year.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, but South Carolina don't have the athletes that Tennessee had.
Debatable. Speaking of Tennessee, though, Alabama goes into Tennessee to play the Volunteers.
Nico, and you're going to make me puke. Nico and the Orange will put Alabama away.
Okay.
Tennessee is going to be among the better teams in the country defensively.
Okay.
And we've already seen Nico and what he did. Iowa had one of the best defenses in the country last year, whether you like their offenses or not.
Yeah.
That they were able to win 10 games with.
I think they finished the season in the top 25 rankings. I may be mistaken.
With an offense that averaged 7 points a game, they won 10 games.
Yeah. Okay, so it was their
So-
defense that carried them.
So when you talk about their defense,
Mm-hmm.
their defense did that without getting any help from their offense.
Okay.
And I know what Nico did to that defense. Kid's going to be good. And I hate saying it because I hate the orange. It makes me.
Your
I-
team is in the SEC. I wouldn't expect you to hate any other team in the SEC.
I got a sour taste just saying that Tennessee's going to beat Alabama. I'm burping sour stuff.
Oh God, I'm not going to hold that against you, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee gets the win over Alabama as well.
Right.
So next game up, they play Missouri. They surprisingly had a good season last year.
They did. But I think the catalyst for that season is gone.
Yeah, I can see that. I
That-
think the key game that I saw was their field goal kicker getting a win over Kansas State when Missouri visited them.
That, but they also had a running back that was out of this world,
Mm-hmm.
and he's gone.
Okay, fair enough. So Missouri takes a step back this year.
I think they take a little bit of a step back. They're going to have a prolific scoring offense because Brady Cook, Luther Burden,
Yeah.
Sports Fight brings it up. They
So
still have
for
Bur-
Missouri, would you say like 5-7, 7-6, or
No, I think they're going to win 9-10 ball games,
okay? Respect.
but it's not going to be as flashy as what they were last year offensively.
That's fair.
Because the running back ain't there, and without that running threat, it kind of helps you defend the pass a little bit better.
I'll agree to that. And if their kicker still returns, they might have a good chance to get some sneaky wins on their schedule, but we're just gonna have to see how things pan out for them.
Fair. Like
All
I said, I still think Missouri wins 9 or 10 ball games.
All right,
It's
fair
not
enough.
going to be the flashy good football that they played last year.
Fair enough. I could agree to that. So next game up for Alabama, they go into LSU.
LSU beats them.
LSU beats them.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that as well. I mean, yeah, like I said, or like we agreed upon, Alabama really hasn't been the same since Nick Saban left. Yeah, Jalen Milroe will have some traction under his feet, but I mean, LSU is easily one of the top SEC schools in college football. They finished last year 10-3. So
With the defense that gave up 50 points a game. If that tells you anything.
all right, so it's going to be no surprise when Alabama gets a decimation win over Mercer. And if it's anything like the game that they played against, that Alabama played against South Florida, I'll be fucking surprised.
So people hear the name Mercer and they laugh at Alabama players. But and Alabama clearly is more talented. They're more physical. They're probably going to blow that team out. But let's be real. Mercer is actually a good FCS team. They actually win about 7 or 8 games every year. They're a solid football program at the FCS level.
Let's see.
I hate that they have to take the sacrificial lamb games against teams like Georgia and Alabama because it makes it look like it's something that it's not.
I mean, look, I'll say this much. Adam Sandler said it best in The Longest Yard. Yeah, every year when I was a quarterback at Florida State, we go up against Appalachian State or some slack Division II team.
Right.
Kick the living shit out of them. Get their confidence up.
Yeah.
That's basically how Mercer is. Yeah, they get the shit kicked out of them, but it still builds their confidence. I mean, look at Appalachian State.
Yeah.
They've they are building something there. I mean, they almost got a win over North Carolina when Drake May was a supposed Heisman favorite, for crying out loud.
So I wanted to address that comment by Jacques.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Tennessee's defense is going to be Iowa good. What I'm saying is Tennessee is going to be they'll be a top 20 defense without question. And it's going to be tough. They're going to be solid defense.
Burden and Cook. Drinkwitz. Wow. I don't know why, but I'm seeing Drinkwitz as a TV show character that I watched back in the day. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb.
If you haven't seen it yet, do you remember the video of Brian Kelly dancing with the LSU recruit a couple years ago?
No, I might have to look it up.
So I found something way more cringe than that.
Oh boy.
Eli Drinkowitz just put out a video like a week or two ago where he's with the recruit and he's playing guitar. Oh my, you want to talk about cringe-worthy? That's cringe. That is cringe.
Oh, good Lord. Marcus Carroll ranked 20 in nation running back last I saw. Ooh. Okay.
I take it he's the replacement at Missouri.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But we got our favorite villain posting something.
And LSU.
Hey, wouldn't surprise me. So for the final two games for Alabama, they go into Oklahoma.
Ugly.
Yeah.
Alabama wins that by 2 or 3 scores.
Ooh, man. See, I say
I'm not big on Oklahoma.
I'll agree that it's ugly, but I think Oklahoma squeaks out a win. I think it's going to be a close game between those two teams.
I'm not sold on Oklahoma. Oklahoma is not built for the SEC like Texas is.
Aren't they still in the Big 12?
Oklahoma's coming to the SEC.
Oh, okay.
It's two different styles of football. Texas has been preparing for that. Oklahoma, sure, they got Jackson Arnold, but they ain't got anything else.
That's fair. All right. And then the final game for Alabama is, of course, the good old-fashioned Iron Bowl.
I think Auburn's going to be terrible. But in that game, anything can happen.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Alabama needed 4th down and near 40 yards to get a walk-off win against Auburn last year.
Yeah. Like I said, anything can happen in that game.
Absolutely. All right, so next team up, we got Florida State, who was snubbed out of the college football playoffs. They finished the season 13-1. Yeah, they won the ACC championship, but things didn't really work out for them. They finished the season 6th in the nation.
So I wanted to address a couple of these comments here about doing my homework before I run off at the mouth. So let's just talk about Oklahoma's offense. They returned 36% of their offense. They returned 36% of their offense. So I've done my research on Oklahoma. I'm not impressed by what they got. Now, defensively, yeah, they returned 79% of their defense.
I mean, I gotta agree with Jacques here. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a hard-fought game between both teams.
But to think Oklahoma is going to be this offensive juggernaut coming into the SEC, I don't know what you see.
The
Because they're
SEC
not.
is the.
I've done my homework. 36% of your offensive production returns.
Look, sports bite. Look, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but Oklahoma, if they're going into the SEC, they, much like Texas, they really won't stand a chance. All right? They really freaking won't. Like, look at Texas's schedule. They got to go through a fucking gauntlet after as the second that they play Mississippi State. So, I mean, Texas will even be lucky to finish the season 10 wins, their first year in the SEC. When Oklahoma is going to join the SEC, who knows? But when they do, it ain't going to be a pretty thing. It's going to be, I'll say this, it's going to be uglier than when USC, the University of Spoiled Children of Southern California, goes to the Big Ten in their first season of the Big Ten. And let me talk to you. It's not going to be pretty once October and November roll around. Now, you could say that, like, California has plenty of quarterbacks that thrive on the East Coast and in the winters. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, so on and so forth. Yeah, because they moved away from Southern California. Yeah, they were born and raised in Southern California, but I mean, come the freaking hell on. They went in when they were 20 years old. Everybody else in the Big Ten has been born and raised in the Midwest or the Northeast alone, for crying out loud, and they're used to those harsh winters. So give me a break. USC is going to do horrible in the Big Ten, and it's not even going to be close.
I mean, they're already running scared from the SEC too.
Yeah. Look, I'll say this. When late November, even early December rolls around and USC steps off the plane for an away game, they're frozen the first step they take. Because it gets really, really harsh in the Midwest. I'll tell you that. They've been building for 3 years, top two of the top defensive players in the country. I said, Oklahoma would be 7-8 wins. Ooh.
I can see them winning 7 games, going 7-5.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
But I don't think they're in the class of Alabama.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Alabama is. Yeah, they're one of the top teams in the SEC. It's not even close.
Give me Jalen Milroe over Jackson Arnold all day long, and twice on Sunday.
Bold take, but I'll go with that. I mean Jalen Milroe. I'll say this: Jalen Milroe, he will have some traction under his feet, and he will know. Like, yeah, last year was his first season under center for Alabama. What?
I mean,
who's your team, my guy? Who's your team? Let's go over their schedule. Who is your team?
He's
originally their schedule.
He's originally from Oklahoma and has been an Oklahoma affiliated person. So obviously he's going to take issue with somebody talking about Oklahoma.
That's fair.
He's not a homer like Tim Bailey was.
Who the fuck is Tim Bailey?
But he will defend his school. Ooh.
Nussmeier?
Jacques, you're on something. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with Nussmeier over Arnold. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's, oh man. We are almost 2 months away from college football season, and
It's heating up already.
oh God, I cannot wait for it. So next team up, we got Oregon, who finished the season 12-2. Oregon has always been a powerhouse in the Pac-12. Unfortunately, the Pac-12 is going to be diminishing this year or going into next year. I'm not 100% sure, but Oregon, they've always been at the top of the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think?
But they're going into the Big Ten this year too.
Okay, so what do you think Oregon finishes?
I can see them winning 10, 11 ball games.
Okay, that's fair. I mean,
They
Oregon.
They got a big game with Ohio State.
Mhm.
That'll tell a lot about both teams.
Yep.
So, you know, but like I said, I can see them winning 10 or 11 ball games.
Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, especially it's their first season in the Big Ten, and the Big Ten is
Different style of football. Yep.
Yeah, they're easily they have a very solid argument to be number 2 conference below the SEC.
Fair.
So,
but
it wouldn't surprise me if Oregon gets 10-11 victories on the season. Mm-hmm. Next team up, we got Missouri, who surprisingly finished in the top 10 and went 11-2 on the season.
I think their ceiling is 9 to 10 wins.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, they take a little bit of a step back, but they do get some key wins, and yeah. So we're gonna stick with the SEC. We got Ole Miss, who surprisingly, Ole Miss is, in my opinion, from what I've seen, always been middle of the pack in the SEC, but they finished top 10 and they finished 11-2 last year.
I may catch some heat from this in the comments. One of the three between Georgia, Texas, and Ole Miss will be your SEC champions.
Really? You think Ole Miss takes that type of leap forward?
Ole Miss is that good.
Okay.
Third-year starter quarterback.
Very true.
They are loaded. And if they don't get it done this year, I don't think Lane Kiffin ever gets it done at Ole Miss. This is the year they've been built in.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Lane Kiffin coming from the Nick Saban coaching tree. I mean, he's been trying to build something at Ole Miss, but I mean, it's like, y'all have got to get something done, or.
Now, I will say the 2022 version of Ole Miss, I think that was his best coaching job.
Okay. Was he there in what was it, 2015?
Not 2015.
Okay. I was gonna say, I remember watching highlights between Ole Miss and Alabama, and man, oh man, what a game it was in 2015.
Yeah, 2022 was a team that Jackson Arnold was first-year starter. They didn't really know what they were going to do on the offensive side of the ball. Really didn't have a very good defense, and he got them to a level that most people didn't see him getting them to.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to be able to do that with what he had, I think that was his best coaching job ever. But this year's team is absolutely loaded. And if he don't win the SEC or national title, I think they get in the playoffs with ease.
Yeah.
And once they're in the playoffs, anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Ole Miss is a very, very dangerous team.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could really see Ole Miss being like a very good, sneaky type of team. And if they get into the college football playoffs, it really wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. That's my expectation anyway.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, so next up, man, Ohio State. This is arguably their best chance to run the Big Ten because Michigan lost a lot. They lost their quarterback, they lost their running back, they even lost their head coach. Granted, they finished the season 11-2, but this is their chance to make a mark in college football history and do something.
Everybody's got them pegged at 1 or 2 in the nation this year.
It wouldn't surprise
And
me.
it wouldn't surprise me, but for me, I'm in wait and see mode.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because what is Will Howard going to be at Ohio State? Who's he going to throw to?
Very true.
I mean, they lost some weapons in their receiving room that
Mm-hmm.
you know,
They lost their best receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Is Will Howard. Who's he going to throw the ball to?
Yeah.
He did some magnificent things at Kansas State, but it's against a very mid Big 12. What's he going to do at Ohio State? Does it translate? And who are the weapons on the outside that are? Yeah, they got Quinshon Judkins at running back, which that helps. But that passing game, I'm in wait and see mode to see what they got.
Oh, for sure.
I can't put them on that pedestal until I see it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll agree with that too. But for right now, like from my point of view, the last 3 years, Michigan has owned Ohio State. But on top of that, like, look, this is y'all's best chance, including you, Ryan Day. This is your best chance to run the Big Ten and get into the college football playoffs. If anything, face Georgia in the national championship.
See, when I mentioned the Oregon-Ohio State ball game, that's going to be the tell. If Ohio State can pull that out and beat Oregon, okay, you might have something.
Yeah.
But if Oregon handles their business, that leaves a lot of question marks for Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. And it really begs the question, like, should Ryan Day still be the head coach at Ohio State?
If they don't beat Michigan this year, he's gone.
Oh, absolutely. If they lose to Oregon and Michigan, yeah, Ryan Day is gone. And it's not even close. All right, next up. Wow. This team actually surprised me because they're mostly known for their college basketball program. But Arizona, who finished the season 10-3.
I'll just put it to you like this. Jed Fish is gone, their head coach. They lost a couple of pieces to Washington. They still got Noah. They still got Noah Fafita.
Okay.
He is dynamic. But can he do it under a different regime? A lot of question marks for Arizona.
Yeah.
If they still had Jed Fish and those pieces that they lost that went with him,
yeah,
absolutely top 10 team. But they don't. So there's a lot of question marks there.
Yeah. At worst, I think Arizona goes 500.
And that wouldn't shock me.
That wouldn't shock me either.
Especially moving into the Big Ten. Like I said, it won't shock me because of what they've lost. So, they had a great year last year. No doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so next up, we got LSU, another top team in the SEC who finished 10-3.
I see another 9 or 10 win season for them.
That's fair. Very, very fair.
It's Garrett Nussmeier's turn to show out and do the deep.
Yeah. All right, so next up, we got Penn State. Another team that really could give Ohio State a run for their money
Yep.
in the Big Ten. They finished last year 10-3.
They're gonna be solid again. The
Mhm.
question is, can they get over the hump of Michigan and Ohio State?
I think they'll get over the hump of Michigan because Michigan has lost a lot of pieces, but I don't know if they'll get over the hump of Ohio State. Because right now I got Ohio State at the top of the Big Ten right now.
Mhm.
All right. Middle of the pack, Notre Dame, they finished 10-3. I think it's going to be the same thing again this year.
I mean, it could. Going to be interesting. I'm not sure Notre Dame is going to be anything more than a 10-win team ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know. Nothing about Notre Dame scares me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're essentially the only team that are like on the independent circuit of things when it comes to college football, or even for the school in general.
right.
Yeah.
So I hate to leave you alone, but I have another show I got to prepare for.
All right.
So if you're not doing anything at 8:30, jump on over and watch the Golden Boot podcast. Myself, George, and Cody will be tackling some good issues and having some good discussions. We'll be on at 8:30 to 10:30 right here on the Dogs Media Network. And James, I've had a good time tonight. We didn't get all hot-headed like we did last night.
Yeah, no, I really thought that it was going to be hot-headed. There were like even the discussion about the WNBA, even Caitlin Clark. I thought that was going to be another hot-headed discussion, but
yeah. It went off pretty easy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, y'all have a good time, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So that was Vandy Chris, another dude on the Dogs Media Network who, like myself, is a co-host on the show College Sports Villains, and College Sports Villains happens every Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about on that show. It is an awesome show. You're not going to want to miss it. But for right now, we are going to continue to talk about college football expectations going into this upcoming season. Now, Oklahoma finished the season 10-3. They finished the season in the top 15. Now, let's take a look at their schedule. Hey, if the fucking computer will let me. So, first game up, they're playing Temple. That's an obvious no-brainer that Oklahoma is going to get the win. Next game up, they play Houston at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Houston, man, they've been questionable. They've had some pretty good win seasons. I think Houston takes the win over Oklahoma. So Oklahoma goes into the game against Tulane 1-1. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Sorry, I am currently watching SmackDown right now, and my boy, the megastar, the one and the only, the one that they call the megastar, with everybody saying L.A. Knight, yeah, is making an appearance right now. I currently have the TV unmuted. Don't get me wrong. Dog Media Network, the camera is still on me. It's not going to be on the TV anytime soon. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. So, going into the game against Tennessee, Oklahoma is currently 2-1 in my book. This is going to be a tough win for Oklahoma, but Oklahoma gets the tough win over Tennessee. Now, they go into Auburn. Auburn, who finished, they finished 6-7 last year. Middle of the pack. Anyways, Auburn, who finished 6-7, middle of the pack. I think Auburn might get the job done over Oklahoma. But this is the game that I have currently got my eyes on, the tongue twister itself, the Red River rivalry. And I dare anybody out there that is tuning in right now to say the Red River rivalry 5 times fast, because I bet you can't. Anyways, so this is the Red River rivalry. Oklahoma, they have had some wins over Texas in the past. I think Oklahoma gets the win over Texas at a neutral site like they always do. Next game up, they play South Carolina. Woo! That's going to be a hard-fought game, but I think South Carolina might get the job done, if you know what I mean. Ole Miss, man, me and Chris talked about it. Ole Miss, they are definitely going to make some projections this season. On top of that, this is Lane Kiffin's best season to do something with Ole Miss. So I think Ole Miss gets a win over Oklahoma. Oh, fuck. Santos Escobar, get your stupid ass out of here. Anyways, so after Ole Miss, Oklahoma takes on Maine. That's an easy win. They go into Missouri. Let's see here. Missouri, they finished 11-2. They might, so they'll go into this season with a 9-10 win. I think one of those losses that Missouri has is against Oklahoma. There's no way in hell that Oklahoma is going to beat Alabama anytime soon. And I think LSU does get the job done against Oklahoma. So a little bit of a minor setback for Oklahoma this upcoming season. So, but much like Chris said, I am a wait and see type of guy. Now, next team up, we got Oklahoma State. Really? They finished 16th with a 10-4 record under Oklahoma? What? Yeah. Don't disrespect the megastar, Santos. Don't you dare disrespect the megastar. Oh, of course. Logan Paul, he's got to do a sneak attack on the megastar, the one that they call the megastar LA Knight. He's got to do a megastar because he is too scared to lose his U.S. title to LA Knight. Oh, sure. Get that so-called right hand cocked and loaded. Oh, please. You are going to suffer some blunt force trauma when you lose your U.S. title at Money in the Bank. Or hell, you know what? He'll probably lose it at SummerSlam when LA Knight takes the belt off of him. Anyways, so we are talking about Oklahoma State right now, who finished the season 10-4, 7-2 in their conference. What the hell? So, first game of the season, they play South Dakota State. South Dakota State is quite the team. I ain't even going to deny that. But I will say this. I think South Dakota State plays upset. I'm talking Appalachian State against Michigan in 2007, 2008 type of upset. Anyways, next game up, I kind of foresee Arkansas beating Oklahoma State. After that, Oklahoma State gets the win over Tulsa. They lose to Utah. They get a hard-fought win over Kansas State. Let's see. Let's go ahead and mute that because that's a little bit distracting. Next up, they play West Virginia. Take me home. I think Oklahoma State gets the win over West Virginia. They go into BYU to take on the Cougars. And, let's just say that the greatest Cougar hunter let's just say that BYU has the greatest Cougar hunter coming out of that college. One being Zach Wilson. If you know, you know. But I think BYU, they've been showing some signs. I think BYU gets the win over Oklahoma State. This is a tough matchup. Oklahoma State versus Baylor. I think Baylor is going to get the win. Oklahoma State is going to get the win over Arizona State. TCU gets the win over Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State gets the win over Texas Tech. And because I'm still big on the Deion Sanders and Colorado, I think Colorado gets the win over Oklahoma State. That's what I got to say about that. All right. So, next team up, we got Tennessee, who finished their season 9-4. Man, oh man, this is definitely going to be a team to watch. Yes, they were 4-4 in their conference, and they finished the season 9-4. So for Tennessee, they played Chattanooga. Toga. Am I saying that right? Anyways, Tennessee gets a win over Chattanooga. First game of the season. I think they take a loss to NC State, but they get they get a much needed bounce back win over Kent State. They unfortunately take a loss to Oklahoma. They get a win over Arkansas. I kind of foresee Florida getting a sneaky win over Tennessee. I think Tennessee will also get a win over Alabama. Then let's see. Tennessee does get it done against Kentucky and Mississippi State. Unfortunately, they take a big fat L. Sorry, Tennessee fans, to Georgia. They get a much needed win over University of Texas El Paso, and they finish the season on a high note, getting the win over Vanderbilt. So it's more than likely that they'll finish the season the exact same. We will see what happens. Next team up, we got Kansas State. They finished 6-3 in their conference and overall finished the season on a 9-4 record. So let's take a look at their 2024 schedule, shall we? We got University Texas Martin. Kansas State gets the win. I think Tulane gets the win over Kansas State. Kansas State gets a win over Arizona. Kansas State might also get a win over BYU and Oklahoma. I think they take a loss to Colorado because, again, I'm still on the hype of Deion Sanders and what he can bring to the table for that school. Aside from that, they get a win over West Virginia. I think they take a loss to Kansas. How Kansas isn't the last game of the season for Kansas State is kind of beyond me. Let's see. I think Kansas State takes a loss to Houston. The next two games, or you know what? I'll say 3 games for Kansas State. They win against Arizona State, Cincinnati, and Iowa State. That'll be, man, there's a lot of good teams worth looking at this season. And again, we are almost 65 days away from college football. It is, man, it is so close. So fucking close. I cannot wait. All right. So, Louisville, they finished the season 10-4 and 7-1 in their conference. Let's take a look at their schedule, shall we? Now, they get it done against Austin, PA. I'm not sure if I'm really saying that right. They also get the win against Jacksonville State and Georgia Tech. They suffer a loss to Notre Dame. It is what it is. I'm not trying to be biased because Notre Dame is one of my favorite teams when it comes to college football. Let's see. I think SMU gets a win over Louisville, and Louisville bounces back with a win over Virginia. I think they suffer a loss against Miami. On top of that, I think Boston College gets the win over Louisville. They suffer another loss to Clemson. You know what? From Boston College down, I see nothing but losses. Boston College has been building a solid program. Clemson, they're still there. Like, yeah, they haven't really been the same since Since their since their last national championship. Stanford, I think Stanford gets a sneaky win. Pittsburgh is a very, very tough team. And let's be honest, Kentucky, they're starting to find a rhythm in the SEC. Let's be honest. So I think Louisville takes a step back this season. Anyways, I think Louisville takes a step back this season, and they don't see that. I don't really see them in the top 25 this season. So, Clemson, once the pinnacle of college football, winning multiple national championships, even taking out Alabama at the time. Now they find themselves going 4-4 in their conference, and on top of that, last year they finished 9-4. Let's be honest here, they don't get the win over Georgia, but they do get the win over Appalachian State, and I think they get the job done against North Carolina State. I think Stanford I think Clemson also gets the win over Jesus, I'm drawing Stanford. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Florida State against Clemson. I think Florida State takes the win. Oh, man. They go into Wake Forest. The time is to be determined, but if Clemson goes into Wake Forest and it's a night game and Wake Forest is rocking the black, like all black, I'm talking helmet all the way down, Wake Forest might get the win, but depending on what the time is, Clemson does get the win over Wake Forest. They get a win over Virginia. They get a win over Louisville, and same thing with Virginia Tech. I think they take a loss to Pittsburgh because, like I said, they are a very tough team. Let's take a look here. Yeah, well, their record doesn't really speak for itself because they finished the season 3-9, but Pittsburgh does get some sneaky wins. They really haven't been the same since Kenny Pickett left the team. Anyways, so next team up, they face the Citadel. Clemson gets it done easily, and I'm gonna be a little bit biased, but I think South Carolina gets the job done against Clemson. I'll say that. Let's take a look at the standing. Oh, wait. South Carolina is in the SEC. So, next SEC team we're going to have to take a look at. Anyways, speaking of the ACC, let's talk about North Carolina State, the Wolfpack. They went into the conference 6-2, and they finished the season overall 9-4. So let's talk about it. So first game on the season, they get an easy win over Western Carolina. How are there so many Carolina teams? Eastern Carolina, Western Carolina, Coastal Carolina. Jesus Christ. It's only North Carolina and South Carolina. If you want to play that game, just break up North and South Carolina into God knows how many freaking Carolinas. Jesus. Anyways, so NC State, they got the job done against Western Carolina. They take a loss to Tennessee. They make it up by getting a win over Louisiana Tech. They take a loss to Clemson. They get the win over Northern Illinois. Wake Forest, NC State gets the win. Syracuse, NC State also gets the win. California, they also get the win. Stanford, I think NC State is also going to get the win. Duke, I think, let's see here. Duke finished 8-5 last year, 4-4 in the conference. I think Duke gets the win over NC State. Let's see, Georgia Tech. Wow. Surprising season for Georgia Tech. They went 5-3 in the conference and finished 7-6 overall. You know what? Let's play upset. I think Georgia Tech will get the job done against NC State. And to close things out, North Carolina. Let's see here. They finished 8-5. Yeah, way to go, Drake May. Supposed Heisman favorite. You fucking led North Carolina not only to a 4-4 conference type record, but you also led the Tar Heels to an 8-5 record. I think NC State gets a win over North Carolina. I will say that with fucking confidence. All right. So a team that hasn't been in the top 25 rankings, and I don't know how fucking long, but we got SMU who finished the season 11-3. Am I reading this right? Hang on. All right, so they finished 11-3. Supposedly, they are in the ACC, but anyways, it is what it is. So, first two games, SMU gets it done against Nevada, and then I want to say Houston Christian. All right, so SMU is currently 2-0, bringing in BYU. I think BYU gets it done. You know what? I think after the loss that TCU suffered in the first game of the season to Colorado that TCU should have beaten, I think SMU will get the job done. I don't foresee SMU getting the job done against Florida State or even Louisville for that matter, but they will get the job done against Stanford. Let's see. They lose to Duke and they lose to Duke. They get the win against Pittsburgh. I'm going to say take a L against Boston College. They get a win over Virginia, and then they also get a win against California to finish out their season. That's how I foresee it. Kansas. Okay. So, Kansas, they finished in their conference with a record of 5-4, and they finished overall with a record of 9-4. Let's talk about it. So, their first three games, Lindenwood, they get a win. Illinois, oh boy. Illinois has been questionable so many times, but I think Kansas gets the job done. They also get a win against UNLV. They get another win. Shit. They might finish with 10 or 11 wins this year. Because, let's see, West Virginia, they're... Okay, well, you know what? They might take a loss against West Virginia. Let's take a look at TCU, where they finished. All right, so TCU, they finished 5 okay, so yeah, more than likely Kansas is going to get the win over TCU. Arizona State, they've been much like Vanderbilt, another circle win team. Trying to look at the Sun Devils here, ESPN. Jesus. Of course. Why wouldn't you help me? Anyways, let's see. I'm getting off track here. I think Kansas gets the job done against Arizona State. I think they take a loss to Houston. Kansas State. I think Kansas does take another loss to Kansas State. They get a win over Iowa State. They get a win over BYU. They take a loss to Colorado, and then they take another loss to Baylor. So they're definitely a 9 to 10 win type of team going into this year. Next up, though, we got Iowa. Now they finished third in the Big Ten. They finished in their conference with a record of 7-2, and they finished overall with a record of 10-4. Going into Illinois State, easy win. Iowa State, hard fought win. Troy, win. Minnesota, oof, that is very tough. Minnesota finished the season last year 6-7 overall. I'm gonna have to go with Iowa. Iowa, on the other hand, takes a loss to Ohio State because they are going into Ohio State. Washington, they get the win. Let's see, Michigan State, they finished 4-8. Iowa gets the win over Michigan State. And to explain the win over Washington, I think, like myself and Chris discussed, Washington is definitely taking a big step back this year because they lost not only their quarterback that led them to the national championship, but they also lost Rome Dunze. And just look, it's all about quarterback to wide receiver connection, and on top of having a good run game. But Washington, they take a very big step back this year. So Iowa gets the win over Washington. They also get the win over Michigan State. Easy win over Northwestern. Let's take a look here. Easy win over Northwestern because Northwestern had a conference record of 5-4, but they also finished 8-5. So, but on top of that, when has Northwestern actually ever been good, except for a couple of years ago when they were actually in the rankings? Anyways, so Iowa takes a loss to Wisconsin. They get a win over UCLA. Maryland finished 8-5 overall, but they also had a conference record of 4-5. I think Maryland gets a sneaky win over Iowa, and then Iowa gets a win over Nebraska. That's how I foresee their schedule going. Let's see. Last team up in the top 25 rankings, we got Liberty, 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 Liberty. All right, so they play Campbell. Let's see here. Let's see Campbell. Anyways, Campbell, Liberty, easily. New Mexico State, they finished in the conference 7-1. Overall, they finished 10-5. But because their head coach and one of their quarterbacks is going to Vanderbilt, I still don't see Vanderbilt improving 4 games this season. Liberty gets a win over New Mexico State. UTEP, let's see. Oh, they finished 3-9. Liberty gets the win over UTEP. They play East Carolina. Are they in the... They are not, from what I'm seeing. East Carolina, I think Liberty gets it done. Appalachian State, I think Appalachian State gets the win over Liberty. FIU, Liberty, easily. Kennesaw State, Liberty, easily. Jacksonville State, Liberty. Middle Tennessee, they finished 4-8 last season. Gonna have to go with Liberty. Massachusetts, Liberty. Western Kentucky, they finished 8-5. I think I think Western Kentucky gets the win over Liberty. Sam Houston finished 3-9. All right. Yeah. So Liberty is an easy 10-win team going into this 2024 season. Hang on. All right. So give me a minute. All right. So we are nearly halfway through this year's baseball season, and what a surprise some teams have been this year. Other teams were expected to take an absolute dump this year. Looking your way, Chicago White Sox. But as the All-Star game approaches, what grades? Let me know in the comments. What grades would you give some of baseball's teams this year? Let's talk about the AL East. Now, it's really no surprise that the Yankees and the Orioles are duking it out. What really surprised me was the fact that the Orioles got a 17-5 victory over the Yankees, and they set a half game out of first place on the Yankees. The Yankees obviously having the best record in baseball right now with a win-loss of 51 wins and 26 losses. This is an obvious A+ for the New York Yankees. They added Juan Soto to the team, and the results speak for themselves. They brought up Ben Rice. Kid's been doing what he needed to do. Rizzo is injured right now, but DJ LeMahieu was back. So is Garrett Cole. Giancarlo Stanton doing what he needs to do. The pressure is definitely off of him. And right now, it's basically the eyes are on the Yankees' big three. Judge, Soto, and Stanton. And you could even throw Alex Verdugo into the mix. Right now, I got the New York Yankees at an A+ this season. Baltimore Orioles, I could easily put them as an A+ as well. Boston, Tampa, and Toronto, solid C. Maybe C+, at best a B-. I'll be honest. Let's see. Let's move on to the AL Central, shall we? The Cleveland Indians. You can call them Cleveland Guardians if you want to, but I'm sticking with the Cleveland Indians because true sports fans and even true baseball fans know to call them the Cleveland Indians. Anyways, so Cleveland Indians sitting at 46-26. Let's look at the overall. They are currently one of the top 5 teams in baseball right now. I'll give them a solid A. I will also give the Kansas City Royals a solid A-. They really surprised me this year. I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, yeah, they had Vinny Pasquantino. They have Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr. having a very arguable AL MVP season this year. Let's see, Minnesota Twins. I'm gonna say B+. They're 4 games. Yeah, they're 7 games over 500, but they're also a half game back of the Kansas City Royals for second place in the AL Central. Next team up, we got the Detroit Tigers. I'm gonna have to give the Detroit Tigers a solid B. They took a very big step forward. And in my opinion, what is it? They didn't have the best record last year, but they've been taking a big step forward. Chicago White Sox, F. They are easily the worst team in the league right now, and it's not even close. Yeah. If you disagree with me and you're a White Sox fan, then you might be a fucking dummy. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the AL West, shall we? We have the AL West leading Seattle Mariners, who are 44-33. Man, that's a solid A in my opinion. I mean, look, I really thought that the AL West was going to be more stacked, especially with the fact that the Texas Rangers are the defending World Series champions. And right now they are performing at a solid C minus level, in my opinion. Houston Astros, oof, they started off rough, but they are right now competing with the Texas Rangers for second place with a losing record. I'll give the Astros a solid C as well. LA Angels, no surprise. I mean, come on. this is the Angels we're talking about. D plus, C minus at best. Oakland A's, I'll give them a C minus as well. I mean, yeah, I didn't really expect them to have this many wins. I really thought that they were going to be in the same section as the Chicago White Sox. So to see them have 28 wins and 49 losses is surprising. So I'll give the Oakland Athletics a C minus, just to be on the safe side. But let's move on to the National League, shall we? Philadelphia Phillies, second best team or top 3 team in baseball right now. They are a solid A, borderline A plus. They are currently sitting at 49 wins and 25 losses, leading, or I should say, having a comfortable lead in the NL East. With the next team up, the Atlanta Braves, having a 41 win and 31 loss season. They currently sit 7 games back behind the Phillies. Gonna have to give them a solid C right now. Sorry, I'm distracted by the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Florida Panthers are currently on a power play. They are currently down 2-0 with 7:40 left in the second period. Anyways, let's get back into it with the grades. I'm going to give the Washington Nationals a very confident C plus, because I really didn't think that the Nationals were going to be this good. I really thought that they were going to be with the Miami Marlins right now. You know? I mean, come on. Like, New York, the Mets are the Mets. Let's be honest. The last 2 years, they've had 100 plus days in first place, only to choke it away to Atlanta. And then obviously the Phillies got into the playoffs as well. So I can confidently give the Nationals a solid C plus. Miami, man, solid D at best. I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, y'all got into the playoffs, and now you're taking a shit this year. You got rid of the person that brought in some key players that actually got you into the playoffs, and now it's showing. Now you're 25 and 49, sitting 24 games out of first place. Congratulations, Miami. Solid D. Anyways, let's move on to the NL Central. We got the Milwaukee Brewers, who are currently sitting at 44 wins and 31 losses. This is a B plus, solid A minus type of season right now for the Brewers going into the All-Star break. I mean, the fact that they lost Craig Counsell to the Chicago Cubs, we're going to get to them in a bit. And the fact that they're still 13 games over 500 is wow. But I'm not too surprised, because Milwaukee does have the talent. It took St. Louis a bit to get some traction under their feet, but in their last 10 games, they have gone 6-4, and they currently sit at 37-37. Let's go with a solid C for the St. Louis Cardinals. Pittsburgh, man, they might have the deadliest 1-2 punch in pitching rotation because of Paul Skeens and Jared Jones. But right now, they currently sit at 36-39, 5-5 in their last 10 games. Solid C. Cincinnati, I don't know what the hell's going on. Y'all were so close to making the playoffs last season, especially when you called up Ellie De La Cruz, and now you are sitting at the same record as the Pittsburgh Pirates. Gonna have to go with C minus for y'all. Again, I'm gonna have to do the same thing for the Chicago Cubs. It's a D plus. easy, at best, C minus. Because you not only do you bring in Shota Imanaga, not only do you still have Dansby Swanson, Cody Bellinger, Christopher Morel. Yeah, the pitching is 50-50, and so is the best, but y'all gotta do something, and so does Craig Counsell. My God. So again, no surprise when I think I said D plus or even a C minus. Anyways, let's move on to the NL West. The LA Dodgers, a solid B. And I am very confident in saying that. Why? Yeah, they have 47 wins and 30 losses, but let's be real. They have 3 former MVPs on their team. They bring in Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and on top of that, they also brought in Shohei Ohtani. They spent $1 billion on 2 players, and 47 wins and 30 losses is the best that they got to show for it? What? Can y'all get your head out of your asses and actually, yes, they're top 5. They're a top 5 team in the league right now, but their record doesn't speak for itself. The record that they should be having is the exact same as the New York Yankees, if not the same as the Philadelphia Phillies and the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, come on. Unfreaking believable. Let's move on, though. Next team up, we got the San Diego Padres sitting at 39 wins and 40 losses. They are currently 5-5 in their last 10 games. Gonna have to go with the C plus. I really didn't follow them all that much last year, I'll be honest. But yeah, that's the grade that I'm gonna give the San Diego Padres. Arizona Diamondbacks. Man, y'all better get it together in the second half of the season, because sitting at 37 and 38 is not a good look, especially when y'all won the National League Championship and got into the World Series for the first time since 2001. Solid C at best. San Francisco Giants, man, they are currently 4-6 in their last 10 games, and again, much like the Arizona Diamondbacks, the San Francisco Giants better get something together, because right now I got the Giants at a solid C. Colorado Rockies, boy. Let's go with a solid D, just to be on the safe side, All right. But we are going to take our final commercial break. Anyways, we are going to take our final commercial break before we get into some MLB predictions. Usually I have some other people on here joining me, because we do a segment called Name That MLB Player, but we will save it for next week. Don't y'all stress about it. For now, let's get into our final commercial break before we make some MLB predictions, baby.
Icy Breeze is the world's first portable air conditioner and cooler. A premium ice cooler that doubles as an eco-friendly portable air conditioner. This is not a swamp cooler just blowing air across ice. Over 60 parts and components allow Icy Breeze to achieve what no other product in the world can do. The secret behind the Icy Breeze is an innovative design that circulates chilled ice water through a heat exchanger in the lid, replacing the Freon used in most ACs. Fresh air is drawn from hidden vents in the top of the cooler, pulled across the exchanger, and chilled down to 35 degrees cooler than the outside air. A 3-speed fan control delivers Icy Breeze's dry, cold air up to 25 miles per hour, just like a car AC. And a stay-put flex hose directs the breeze in any direction. Wherever you need it, Icy Breeze helps you beat the heat.
All right, and we are back for our final segment of the evening, where we make some MLB predictions going into this weekend. Yes, there are some Friday games that are currently going on right now, but let's talk about the Saturday and Sunday games. So first up, we got the Chicago White Sox, who absolutely suck. As I said when I was talking about grading MLB teams, but they go into Detroit to take on the Tigers. Tigers easily get the win, and it's not even close. Next game up, we got the San Francisco Giants going into St. Louis to take on the Redbirds. I know my wife is listening when I say this, so I am going to go with the San Francisco Giants. I hope you heard that, baby. Anyways, next game up, man, the New York Mets really put a decimation on the Chicago Cubs. The last time that my wife and I saw the score, I think it was 11-1. But for the Chicago Cubs, they got Jameson Taillon on the mound. I think that the Cubs turn it around and get the win over the Mets. Anyways, next game up, we got Arizona going into Philly. We got Tommy Henry going up against Zach Wheeler. Now, Philadelphia isn't the second best team in the league for a reason, or not sure if I worded that right, but you get what I'm saying. The Philadelphia is the second best team in the league for a reason. They have the talent, they have the pitching. Arizona, I'm sorry, y'all are taking a loss to Philly, especially with them going into Citizen Bank Park. It's like going into an SEC home game, for crying out loud. All right. Next game up, we are starting the second game of the afternoon games. We got Kansas City going into the defending World Series champions, House of the Texas Rangers. Michael Wacha is on the mound, and it really wouldn't surprise me if Kansas City walked away with a win over the defending champs. Now, let's move on to the next game. We got Tampa Bay going into Pittsburgh. Oh, come on. It's not even close. Jerry Jones is on the mound for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gets the win over Tampa Bay. Now, still in the later afternoon games, we got Minnesota going into Oakland to take on the A's. Minnesota, man, they are fighting close with Kansas City for second place in the AL Central, but I think Minnesota gets the job done over the Oakland A's. Next game up, man. Baltimore, they are fighting with the New York Yankees for first place in the AL East as they go into Houston to take on the Astros. Corbin Burns is on the mound. Ronel Blanco is also on the mound for Houston. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a pitcher's duel, but Baltimore has just too much talent on their hands. They have Cowser, they have Adley Rushman, Gunnar Henderson. I mean, they are pumping players out the ass, and it shows. So, like I said, Baltimore gets the win over Houston. Next game up, we got Boston going into Cincinnati to take on the Reds. We got Nick Pivetta versus Frankie Montas on the pitcher's mound. Boston has been on a bit of a win streak, but I think that Cincinnati gets the job done over Boston. Next game up, I just got a notification about this that Miami, let me double check. Yeah, Miami in 10 games beat the AL West leading Seattle Mariners. Now, I get it. You never know what's going to happen in baseball. But Seattle definitely regains their composure. Jesus Christ, we might go to a fucking Game 7 for the Stanley Cup Finals. This better not happen, Florida. Y'all better get your heads out of your asses and fucking do something. Anyways, but I think Seattle regains their composure and gets a win over Miami. Next up, we got the Toronto Blue Jays going into Cleveland to take on the Indians. Man, it wouldn't surprise me if Toronto walks out of Cleveland with a win. Now, this is definitely going to be a good game to watch as it will be on Fox. Atlanta goes into New York. We got Charlie Morton on the mound for the Braves and Marcus Stroman on the mound for the Yankees. New York They definitely need this win to bounce back, especially after taking a 17-5 loss to Baltimore. So, the New York Yankees get the win over the Atlanta Braves. Next game up, we got the Milwaukee Brewers. Next game up, we got the Milwaukee Brewers going into San Diego to take on the Padres. I mean, Milwaukee is leading the NL Central for a reason, so it really wouldn't surprise me if and when the Brewers get the win over the Padres. All right, so let's get into the evening games. We got Washington going into Colorado to take on the Rockies. Washington has been a very sneaky team this season, which is mind-blowing to me. I mean, just I got no answers. Just the only reason I see Washington being this good right now is because of the talent that they have brought up. So I'm gonna rock with the Nationals on this one. And to close things out, we got a Battle of LA, but I don't know why I'm saying that because the Angels call themselves the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Somebody make it make sense. Anyways, they go into they take on the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have Tyler Glasnow on the mound. So shouldn't be too surprising when the Dodgers get the win over the Angels, especially with especially when they also get the win on Sunday. But that is all the time that we have for today. I really wish some other people could have joined, but hey, it is what it is. Obviously, we operate on different schedules. I'm not calling y'all out, not taking any shots. I'm not doing anything like that. I promise. We operate on different schedules. It is what it is. So don't be surprised if I become a ghost because I will be working late with my job. Anyways, other than that, look, I would say that I am excited for UFC 303 because I thought we were going to be seeing the return of Conor McGregor taking on Michael Chandler, but unfortunately that isn't the case. Conor McGregor showing what a God. Conor McGregor showing what a dummy he is because he has to back out of the fight due to a broken toe. My guy, you got 9 other fucking toes to stand on, and you're backing out of the fight because of one broken toe? My God. At least go into the fight with that toe heavily taped and take the loss like a man. You won 2 championship belts and 2 different weight divisions like a man. Now take a freaking loss like a man with a fucking injury. But what the hell do I know, huh? Look, it is what it is. Whoever's fighting on, whoever the main event of UFC 303 is going to be, I will look into and just be ready for another live stream when I do another UFC live stream. Again, this is a full disclosure, whatever you want to call it. All right. The camera is going to be focused on me, myself, and I. I will not be showing the fight. I will be providing commentary. Okay. So if that's not up to your standards, it is what it is. All right. But if you actually want to watch the fight, all you got to do is click the link in the description of this video and sign up for the TV service that I have. You can watch the fight, no problem whatsoever. Even if you have an Apple or an Android, the TV service that I have provides step-by-step instructions on how to install the TV service onto your phone, so you will be able to watch UFC 303 when it comes around. Anyways, that is all I have for you today. Man, I will see y'all next week. I will see y'all next Thursday on this show. Give me a minute. I will see y'all next week on this show.
I'm a bad guy, the one you love to hate. Andrew Anderson, spitting truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast, like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain, well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try to hide. I rock in my veins, rebellious to the core. I won't back down, won't take it anymore. The bad guy of the podcast world, that's me. Unleashing the truth, setting it all free. Unleashing the truth.
Woo! Like I said, you can catch me next Thursday on College Sports Villains. That starts at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see y'all there. Do not forget to smash the like, subscribe, follow button on every form of social media for the most uncut, unfiltered, and uncensored sports talk show, or even sports talk page you will find on social media. And at the end of the day, you will know whose game this is with everybody saying no mercy sports. Yeah, I will see y'all next week. Peace out.